First of all, thanks a bunch to Darren Johnson for setting up this meeting. I think we've been working on having this meeting for maybe like 6 months. It took a little more effort than we had anticipated, but my name's Tom Jaline. I'm the president of Airflow. You probably don't know me because I'm on the mechanical side of the construction world. We're an HVAC rep. But I know Darren, and I actually know Dan Shea from our leadership group, and we were in the same leadership group. I think Dan and I were together for 10, maybe for, I'm dating myself here. And then Darren, I think, was for 7 or 8. And then not so long ago, Darren became the president of NECA, moved out to Madison. So yeah, we've been working on this for a little while, but one of the things I wanted to do, look, changing habits is a really difficult thing. And what we're asking you to do is convert from being an erector set kind of a person to a tinker toy kind of a person. And once you're used to a system like the erector set, switching is tough, of course, but everybody's got the same challenges with labor, time management, getting people on and off jobs. So I thought it would be appropriate, even though, we're mechanical and you guys are electrical, that Airflow understands this product really well. We've been working with Gripple for a handful of years. So there's a couple of things that Sean's going to pull out that I'm not as familiar with, but we're going to get there. And then, Sean's going to do most of the webinar. I'm just going to hop in and share my thoughts and some of our experiences as well. So Sean, I'm going to stop sharing, but maybe you could do a quick intro and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Excellent. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today again. And Tom, thanks for setting this up. My name is Sean Lowe. I am National Electrical Containment Business Development Manager for Gripple. I cover basically the Mississippi East in the country for us. I've recently just got a counterpart in the West, so we've been able to split up the country. I've been in the construction, either distribution or manufacturing side for construction for about 25 years now. Came out of distribution, moved into Gripple, and I'm not looking back. Fantastic company, keeps me busy, that's for sure. And we've had a lot of changes and development with us and growing with the feedback we get from you guys in the field. So this is part of what you're going to see today is for those of you who are not familiar with Gripple, every product that you see has come from development and discussion with contractors in the field about what's missing. And how we can do things better and faster. And our whole entire purpose within Gripple is to innovate and make your job and your lives a lot easier in the field. So there we go. I'll get this thing kicked off, if that's all right, Tom.
Yeah, and just double check on your audio that you're sharing.
Sure, okay. Yep, got it. First thing I wanted to say is thank you to NECA. We were awarded a NECA Showstopper Award this year. We're first time we've been back to the NECA show in quite some time, and I'm very pleased to say that our Fast Track product was one of 25 recipients of the Showstopper Award for innovation and new products that are coming out. We'll give you some detail on this specific product, but it's a rapid trapeze bracket, a short drop solution that we will definitely get into in just a few minutes. So once again, thanks to NECA. They were a fantastic, one of the best shows I've been to in a long time. So shall we dive right in? Cool.
That was your first time at the show too, no?
We hadn't been back. It was about 5 years, I think, was the last time we were at the show. And we are, I basically had my marketing manager there this year, and she said, yeah, we're going to stay at this show. So it was a great show for us. So yeah.
Very cool.
Awesome. So let's get started.
Yeah, just a quick intro. This, if for those of you who got the invite, you also got a link to the mechanical webinar that we put on a few months ago. Some of this is the same, a lot of it's different. But go ahead and let's just show the agenda real quick. Sean's going to talk about the electrical only and the intro to Gripple, the Unigrip, the end fixings, the spiders, the fast track, the strut, all that stuff. The folks at Airflow are pretty familiar with all those kinds of things. I'm interested to learn a little bit more about this underground duct bank because it's not the kind of thing that we have to do regularly, but maybe the rest of you in the audience are awfully familiar with this. So we'll hang out for questions at the end, but just I think we'll be close to about an hour, so hopefully all you guys can hang around till the end. So with that, who is Gripple?
Very good. So for those of you who may not know, Gripple's been around the construction market for about 25 years. We actually kicked off about 10 years earlier than that. Our founding father, Hugh Facey, who's in the background there, that is the original Gripple. It was actually designed as a wire joiner for fencing. He was on the Welsh hillside one afternoon trying to sell wire joiners to a farmer, and he was very frustrated about how difficult it was to pull and tie at the same time. So the product itself was designed to grip and pull, and that's exactly where our name has come from and has stuck. So grip the wire, pull it tight, secure it, and it doesn't go away. Since that time, however, we have gone quite a ways from our starting point, which is in vineyards and fencing and landscaping. We've expanded well into the building services, civil construction as well for soil retainment, and of course, we even do full seismic and force protection throughout. Our U.S. manufacturing facilities were one of the few. We just expanded our facility in Chicago to over 60,000 square feet. We did that right coming out of COVID. So that was very fortuitous for us. And we also have a smaller facility in Los Angeles as well, servicing the West Coast for us. But we do cover all 5 of these industries from our U.S.-based market. We are based globally out of the Sheffield, England, is where our home is, from where we were developed. But we do operate here in the U.S. with one of the largest manufacturing facilities for Gripple globally for us. So let's dive right into what we're talking about. The project, what we're talking about with Gripple is that we're a manufacturer, but we don't just manufacture products. We actually provide a full front to finish process where we work with you, the contractor, directly. We can become involved with you in the design side on pre-construction. We have takeoff services, engineering solutions for seismic that are available to you at the front end of the project, and then moving through the solutions for underground duct bank. Any pre-construction or off-site construction concerns you guys have, we can help support those avenues. And then on-site, at the site, we have local territory managers who are available to be on-site doing training with your guys, and any kind of technical support. They can be on-site and be there for you throughout the process. So basically, from design to punch list, we are available to work with you from top to bottom. As part of that process, we can take a look at the engineering side. Tom, did you have something there?
I was just going to say, one of the things that surprised me is this pre-construction takeoff service is available to our mechanicals. And I don't exactly know why they're not taking advantage of it. Maybe it's taking a long time for them to strip off their plans, but they can, any contractor can send us any iteration of a plan and we can do a takeoff on it. It may not be perfect, but we can at least get started on something. How much time does the contractor need for us to be able to turn this around?
So when we take a look at that, for you guys, what we're asking for is your shop drawings. Yeah. As that design comes through for you guys, and as you're building this process, we can help you with linear foot. We can do bare bones quotes from linear foot, but we do need to talk a little bit about structure. We can get into a 5 to 10 minute conversation about that and walk that through, or we can send those shop drawings in to our team in Chicago, and they can walk through an entire BOM for you, lay it out. And as you see up here, everything is color coordinated. So each part code for the BOM is color coordinated, then it's laid out on your drawings as well. So we'll overlay that into what you guys have laid out and designed. So it's zone specific. We can also work on delivery schedules for you on that, so that we're shipping just in time rather than dealing with having to stock product or hold product. We can actually deliver that just in time rather than having to find a place to put that, because I know for a fact these sites are not getting any bigger. They keep getting smaller and smaller, just like your mechanical spaces, right? So that's one avenue that we do provide for you in that side of it. We'll help with the technical side. Go ahead, Tom.
It was just more of a comment about that service is available to all of our customers, electrical contractor, mechanical contractor, piping contractor. And I've been surprised at the reception so far that it hasn't been greater. So maybe some of the electrical contractors here will take advantage of it.
And well, one thing that maybe we're not touting enough on that end is that the takeoff service that we provide for this doesn't cost the contractor a thing. That's a free service we provide for looking at the product and the process that we're putting together through Gripple. So it's a no-cost takeoff service that's available to you. In that end, as you're learning about using Gripple and you find those 2 or 3 or whatever products that you enjoy, as you are growing with that aspect and you're using your BIM systems and you're in your estimating, you can actually get our entire family of BIM and Revit files that are available for you to just drop and drag into your designs so that you'll have those available, be able to use them. It takes about a day or 2 for us to turn that around and send that out to you. It's just a quick request that you put in through Tom or through your territory manager locally, Dan Majeski, or even myself. We can help you get that process into your hands and into your system so that you can do that drop and drag in your design as well. So, real simple. Let's dive into the actual process of the products that we're talking about. And when we get into stepping from the design to site work, obviously this is a big one. The underground buoyancy anchor, anchoring duct bank solutions has been pretty straightforward in the market, whether it be using EMT or threaded rod, bending it over the top, building a frame. But no matter what you have to do, you actually have to find a way to hold that down during the concrete pour. So what we've done is we've actually got a designed anchor that we've been using for years in solar applications. And now we've turned this over with a discussion from the crew in Iowa that started this process for us about how to use that with duct bank. And so what we're doing is providing a single SKU solution that gives you an anchor, 15 feet of cable, and a dynamic lock. And we'll actually show you how that works right now.
The underground buoyancy anchor is driven into the trench at a near vertical angle next to the duct bank spacer or card. The drive rod is inserted into the anchor and used to drive the anchor to a depth of 3 feet. Once the anchor is at approximately 3 feet, the drive rod is removed from the anchor. The anchor is then set to 90 degrees by using the leverage of the jack jaw to rotate the anchor and lock it in place. Finally, the cable above ground is inserted into the Gripple lock and secured to the duct bank by looping the cable through the spacer and back through the lock. Once the cable is tensioned hand tight, the duct bank is secured and ready for the concrete pour. Contractors are currently using anchors every other card or spacer location, which is approximately every 8 to 12 feet.
So that's a pretty straightforward solution when it comes to an anchoring that duct bank. And this will depend on your width and your height of your duct bank, but we pretty much default to that every 10 to 16 feet, every other card location solution. The installation time was pretty close to what you're seeing depending on your soil conditions. But again, if you've got questions on that, we can come out and do an on-site demonstration for you. We can walk you through an actual layout for it. We shoot that off of linear foot when it comes to it. This has become extremely popular for the larger sites that we're working on, data centers, battery plants, so on and so forth. But we also have contractors that are using this in those smaller, quick 100-foot runs where they need a quick solution to anchor down against a concrete churn. So, any questions on that particular product off the get here?
I'll have to see if talk about while you're marching through, I'll see if I can figure out if I can see a raised hand or something like that. Hey, airflow folks that are on, can someone raise their hand? Okay, I see one. All right, Tamara, go ahead and ask. All right, this is all working. All right, we're good. Thanks, everybody. Back to your regular scheduled programming.
Fantastic. So the good news is the product is manufactured in Chicago. It's about a 2-day turnaround time from receiving the PO. So we do have that product available very, very quickly for those situations. Please let us know. We'd love to come out and show it to you. It's an incredibly fast anchoring solution. Installation time is somewhere between 60 seconds and 90 seconds to get that anchor in place rather than having to drive a deep run of EMT and then using tie wire or a connector of some sort to connect to the frame or the card. So moving from the underground buoyancy anchor, we will move into the cast in place side. And this is something Tom's seen a little bit of for sure. On the mechanical side, we have an all-in-one cast in plate concrete insert that is basically going straight head to head with your Blue Bangers and Wood Knocker solutions.
Yeah, on the mechanical side, this is really great for us because we're supporting all sorts of different weights. So we can, Gripple's got different solutions for different weights, obviously with cable and then even with rod. So not to steal Sean's thunder here, but it really is a great solution where I don't need to have this size support device for these spots and this size support device for these spots. We just use the same one over and over and over. So if it's 100 or 1,000 or 5,000, same one all the way through.
Absolutely.
Did I just ruin your mojo, Sean? Sorry about that.
You summed it up beautifully.
Okay, thanks.
So the cool part, and this is something that's a little bit unique in the sense to electrical contractors, is a lot of times I know for a fact, guys, that you guys are getting those last minute changes. Somebody's adding an additional run or more weight to your basket or another run of conduit and so on and so forth. So you've already got your inserts in the deck. And now all of a sudden you've got that 1/2-inch insert in the deck, but you need a 3/4 for that threaded rod. Well, when you use the spider in either metal deck or wood form, doesn't matter either. As you can see in front of you, we can do 4 sizes of cable hanging and 4 sizes of threaded rod. And let me detail that a little bit further here for you. When you take a look at what we're talking about, is you actually have a threaded rod adapter where you're threading the rod into, and again, it works directly into the swivel of the insert. And then we also have a crimped end fixing if we're using cable. And this gives you an idea of what our loads are running all the way up to our number 5 cable. So it gives you a great flexibility. The biggest thing about this is that once the insert's in the deck, you don't have to worry about what your hanger is going to be until you have the design finished. You got your locations hung, you've got everything set in place. If you are starting with a number 3 cable system, but we can't do cable anymore, we have to go to a 3/4 inch threaded rod, that's okay. And we can do that. Now, everybody asked me the same question. So once that swivel's in the deck, is it coming back out? Can we get it back out? And the answer to that question is no. That's the whole purpose. We don't want it coming back out, right? Well, what happens if we have to change it? The thing is that this is why we put the inserts in the deck early and give you 8 options on what to put in the deck. We can make that change right up until the moment that you hang. So that's the good news for you, is that you have that flexibility right up until installation. You have that time frame to get it set and know exactly what you're putting up in the air. We can help with that. If we did a takeoff and we laid it out for a number 3 cable and we have to go to a number 4, we can help. We can make sure those changes get done and that the right thing arrives on site. So let's take a look at an actual installation here in our wood form. So pretty straightforward, quick install. Oh, hold on. A quick install like that shows you that it's a quick set, knock loose. You saw the tool for the wood form with the pounding driver. We also have a full extension for the metal deck version, which let me show you that one again real quick, where it has the stem at the bottom, which actually snaps through the deck. It's a 1-inch hole set that it goes through and just snaps in place. If you do wish to actually secure with tech screws, you absolutely can as well. No problem there. And then if you do have a pan deck, now this is that conversation we get into where other parts of the country get confused when we talk about using an actual pan deck, because they don't use a lot of wood form or pan form elsewhere in the country. Down the center of the country, however, we will do that. We can actually adjust from a wood form with the nails to actually putting a zip screw in there if need be to work off a pan deck. So that is our spider product. Anybody waving hands at us, Tom?
Let me just check real quick. No, not right now.
All right. All right, you guys are being really easy on me today.
Yeah.
So when we talk about what's next for the process, so we've covered the underground side of it and we've covered the index solution. The next thing that we're going to talk about is looking at what do we do after that? What's the next part of the process? And for Gripple, it's very simple. We always ask 3 questions of our contractors when it comes to what we're doing. And the first thing we're going to ask is, what are we hanging? What's our weight per foot, right? Because we want to talk about what the cable's going to hang. The next thing we want to talk about is what's at the deck. What are we doing? So if it's not a spider, if we're not able to hang out of a cast in place insert, what are we doing at the top end? Are we looping structure? Are we attaching to a beam clamp? Is there something else that you need to look at? And we can take a look at some of the different end fixings right here. So this is where everything started for Gripple. Simple loop. It's just a quick choke over an I-beam or over your purling, and you're set and locked in place. Of course, this is our multifaceted for a drop-in or any of the other inserts that are in the marketplace, a stud end. These are all crimped on at our factory in Chicago. Our toggle set. This one's pretty straightforward. I don't know if you need to describe that one much, but right through the beam, snap in place. Snap hook off a beam clamp. Much lighter application there, mind you, for the set, and same with the mini hook. And I think you're kind of getting the impression that we got a couple of options available.
It's actually, when it's set to music, this video is sort of like, it's a little mesmerizing. It just goes on and on with all the different ways that you can attach to structure. It's kind of cool. Maybe I'm just being nerdy, but right. It really goes, I think it's like 6 minutes to get every fixing covered, and there's probably 20 more that aren't even on there yet.
Correct. So what we're trying to make sure you guys see is that there is a wide versatility to the products that are available to you, and it's a 3-minute conversation about what we're talking about. And all of these end fixings will come in multiple sizes. We are limited in certain, but please ignore this one because this one's a UK version. We don't play with that here on the US side. This is one of our more popular ones, which is the 90 degree. So these are all available, and it's just part of the kit that we're building for you, because everything that we're going to put together for you is going to come prepackaged and ready to hang. So this is our end fixing. This talks about that side of it. And if it's all right, Tom, I'm going to jump to the next page.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And this is how we select it, right? So it's just talking about what the selection is, whether it be the stud or the 90 degree, the loop. Those are the 3 biggest users that we have in the country right now, because with the 90 degree eyelet, you're able to shoot through it, smack through it. You can actually thread through it. The stud works well in either our spider or works into other inserts or a drop in, whatever it happens to be there. So those are all available to you. The next part of that process is once we discover what we're hanging at the top, knowing what our load is at the hang point. How many hangers do we have? Do we have 2? Do we have 3? Do we have a single drop location? We now want to talk about what your weight is on that process. So we want to talk about what's your load per foot, where's your spacing? Is it 6 foot? Is it 8 foot? And then we can start calculating what that actual cable size will look like. And it's really straightforward for you. As you can see here, our loads are laid out pretty quickly. And of course, we stock in 5, 10, 15, 20 foot and 30 foot lengths in Chicago. Tom, do you guys go by the standard 10s, right?
Yeah, I think we do.
Perfect. And that makes it very easy for you. So it's a matter of just doing a quick discussion of what's at the top end and what's our load at the bottom. And then what we get into is how do we fasten to the actual service that you're hanging? And that's the next part of this process, which is selecting the fastener that you have. The product itself will show up just like this in a box. If you're using our number 2 style cable, which is one of our most common, it's 100 hangers per box in a 12 by 12 by 10 box. Very straightforward, very simple, easy. Pull it out, put it in the air. So let's talk a little bit about those end fixes. Go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
Before we hop on, so Airflow is located in Milwaukee. We're on the northwest side of town. And we do have, even though Gripple's not so far away in Aurora, Illinois, we do have a fair amount of inventory. It may not match exactly what you need, but at the same time, it very well could. So we do have a lot of cable, a lot of end fixings, a lot of different ways to hold up pipe, and in this case, could be conduit or a tray or whatever that turns out to be. So if you're interested in knowing what we have, we can easily get you a list. And if you're interested in having some stuff available, it's certainly a conversation that we can have. Usually ordering and shipping out of Aurora is 2 or 3 days. Sometimes that's not exactly fast enough. So we do have some stuff here as well.
Perfect. So let's talk about the service hand. What's at the bottom end? And the one that is our most popular within our electrical market is our Unigrip product range, because it ties well into prefabrication and it works exceedingly well in multi-tiered racking solutions. And we'll take a quick look at what is available in this kind of multi-foot solution called the Unigrip.
Pretty easy. I got to say, Sean, part of the reason that we did this first webinar series, of course, was, we were dealing with COVID. But
Right.
at the same time, like, the people at Gripple really do a bang up job on their videos. Like, for the customers out there, Gripple will come out and they'll bring all we'll do a site visit with Dan or regional, and he'll bring a whole box of, different Gripple fastenings. And I think the videos actually do a better job of showcasing the product, just because you're using it versus like, here it is, ding ding, like a Christmas ornament or something like that. So
I absolutely agree. It's one of those things where, especially when we bring out the kit, it can get overwhelming because of the amount of solutions that we have available. This is why we try and talk a little bit more specific to a job or a specific type of application that you're doing. With the Unigrip product that you just saw there, we're talking about some of the ones that are most common, and this being the one of the biggest key factors for us is racking solutions with conduit. I love talking about this because we've done hundreds of thousands of these throughout facilities across the country. And this design actually right here came from the Raiders Stadium, where we were doing top and bottom on back-to-back unistrut. This is a real straightforward solution, right? It's very familiar, channel nut washer. And while we were doing was prefabricating that to the strut before it got to site, the cable itself was sent to site before the racks actually arrived. So the installation of the cable was already hung. All they had to do was bring the racks up onto the cable, insert the cable, and lift them into place and level them. It was very slick, very straightforward. But the Unigrip center exit is our #1 application for prefabrication and for rack solutions. It's really simple, really straightforward. You can use it for conduit, you can use it for basket. Again, it's about the load, right? What are we talking for the load on that?
Just to slow it down a half a step, because I remember looking at this. Can you go back one slide,
Yeah,
Sean?
sure.
Sorry. So the product on the left, that's the Unigrip, and whether it just fishes straight through or it exits out the side is just whether or not you're attaching to something that's got a flat bottom, or whether you can fish it straight through. But the product itself, with I guess it's the rubber top that tightens onto the cable, that's the Unigrip.
Right. So
Okay.
the body itself, you'll see that in the body itself, right in this area, I don't know if you can see my mouse.
Yep.
But this is where the actual locking device is within the operation. This here is just your release catch. So large button on top, easy to use with gloved fingers. You push that down, you're able to slide that up or down the cable in either direction. You can tighten it all the way down so it won't go in either direction. But the cable mechanism is that's holding the cable in place is actually within the body itself. You're going to have a plastic top here, which is plenum rated. Everything is set to go. Here's the thing: the best part is that in any situation that we're dealing with, this thing locks in place and doesn't move. So that's the cool part, is that the way it's designed to hold itself in place rather than to have any issues that way as well. So just a thought for you going forward. Anything else you got there, Tom, or do you want me to jump ahead?
No, it's just one of those Gripple things where you guys have interesting names for the product, and I'm like, what does this thing do?
Right.
So I just wanted you to take a half a second and explain how that works.
Perfect. Yeah. So the product itself, again, load factors is where we're at right now. So our number 2 cable, which is one of our most common, is 120 pounds. 3 is 240, and then we get into 550 for our number 4. Next summer, and this is one I've been pushing for about 4 years, especially in the electrical market, is our number 5 Unigrip, which this thing is probably bigger than my fist by total, but it will be an 800-pound load at a 5-to-1 safety factor. So almost all of our product have a 5-to-1 safety factor. So our working load on that will be 800 pounds. That's going to give you 1,600 pounds across the rack. If you're doing a center exit, that means we can do 1,600 pounds across multi-tiered rack. Going across, because it works off of the cable dimension and load for the cable at that point. So it's an impressive feat. I'm really happy for it, because it's one of those things we're seeing more and more of, is they're not putting any less wire on these baskets anymore, or through the conduit. It just keeps getting more and more and more. So excellent. Using Unigrip, obviously we can use it in our Gripple strut or universal bracket, which we'll talk about here in a second, or it works well, as you saw in the video, through standard strut. This particular one is our channel down solution, where we're able to pass up. It's a supremely clean look. There's nothing coming up besides the cable and the top end of the device, or you can go C channel up and use just our channel center exit that we just showed you in the bracketing solution that we did for the conduit top and bottom.
I'm going to take just a half a second on this,
Yep.
because this was another thing that confused me. So on the left,
Yep.
is, on the right is Unistrut, right? That everybody uses. And on the left, the product looks like Unistrut, but it's actually not Unistrut. It's a Gripple product, and we're going to be talking about that. The benefit of using that Gripple product is this Unigrip just has a quarter turn and snaps in place. So it's, again, a little more tinker toy than it is a Rector set. On the right, you have to use this little plastic insert to hold. I mean, look,
Right.
if you love Unistrut, by all means, use Unistrut. But there's some cool stuff you can do by rotating the Gripple strut, I guess is what we're going to call it, right?
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Very good. So yeah, slightly different. We'll talk about the differences between the Gripple strut and the standard Unistrut in just a moment, but it just gives you some more flexibility. Like Tom was talking about, it's more tools for the toolbox, just giving you more options of what you can use in the field and give you some flexibility. So talking specifically about Gripple strut of the universal bracket versus traditional strut, pretty straightforward, right? I mean, 12 gauge versus 14 gauge. The huge difference between what we're able to do with our universal bracket versus traditional strut is that it's coming pre-cut. So everything will come from 9 inches up to 5 inches in length, pre-cut, deburred, ready to hang or ready to assemble and go up in the air. And it's compatible with all current Unistrut products that you're using for clamping, whether it be Cobra clamps or Cush clamps, whatever it is that you're using in those situations. Or you can use our quick twist solutions, which we'll discuss here in just a minute as well. Like Tom was talking about, that quarter turn quick twist is a fantastic solution that requires very little manipulation to actually make it happen. As you saw in the video, is just a quick wrench, just quick help that quarter turn to secure it in place. So the big thing is going head to head on the material side is how much time does it take for you guys to assemble your traditional Unistrut lengths. The other side of it is maybe we don't have a 13-inch version that you would use. We would have a 16-inch version. And so that's where the discussion comes in about what works best for you. Whether it's Unistrut, I'm not going to fight you on Unistrut. We want to give you another option on the table with something that's available to you that's pre-cut and ready to go right now. So.
Sure. Hey, Sean, there's a quick
Yeah.
question here.
Yep.
Are there any limitations on tiered trapeze, or is it good to go as long as it fits under the weight limits?
As long as it's under the weight limits, we're good to go.
Okay.
So as long as we're working off the cable load limits, and again, that's part of that weight per foot spacing discussion, and it does not take us long to work a calc on that for you, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. We press on. We've got about 25 minutes till the end, so I think we're doing pretty well on time.
Awesome. So that
Okay.
gives you a look at the Gripple strut. The other side of it is that with the Gripple strut and our fast track solutions, we're talking about saving space and time on site. So let's take a look at what we mean by looking at the universal bracket. Now, this is specifically our pre-cut bracket and how it can be used in your application. Quick twist, quick connect. That'll be the center exit version. Those are our clamps that can be used for conduit, pipe, like this.
It's all very tinker toy.
I don't know why the paper just did all the toys. Doesn't get much easier than to carry in your basket. Don't see a lot of trunking places here in the US, but it's an option to have.
Sorry, Sean, you're breaking up a little bit.
Sorry.
Sean, is that fitting in the end is different than the mechanical one?
What's that? Sorry?
It's just shaped a little bit differently than the one that has the plastic top. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, so that what you saw there is our Gen 2 of our trapeze product. It's a little bit older. That's a full metal solution. So that one in the European world, they require a fire resistant, absolutely 100% fire rated product, which is all metal. Ours, on the other hand, is a ceramic. The one that we have for Unigrip is a ceramic version on the inside, which actually meets all of our code and building standards here in the U.S. as well. So we do have both options available. That one's just
we don't need the all metal.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because we have the one thing about between the difference between like the UK and the US is here in the US, we actually require fire suppression in buildings. In the UK, they do not. So all of their hangars and everything like that are required to be fully metal solutions for that because they don't have sprinkler systems. And they're coming around to that. So.
Got it.
So yeah, so that gives you some flexibility on those options. As you saw, the clamp solutions that are available, the compact QT and the standard QT are the adjustable height QT. The compact is our most common that we're seeing guys using in the electrical market. It handles everything from 1/2 inch all the way up to 6 inch on that pad. It can be hung below or above. If it's hung below, it's 170 pounds. If it's hung above, it's the rack that it's on that holds the load for it. We also have the GCS clamp, which works with traditional strut. It's a Gripple clamp for strut. is what it's called. It also handles in the electrical configuration, it'll handle 1/2 inch up to 9 inch. Obviously, we don't need 9 inch, only up to about 4 inches, what you guys are ever going to use on those. So that's our quick connects that you were seeing in the video for clamping conduit. Here's another quick look at it. This is what our kit looks like. We can do a quick video on this if you guys want to take a look at it. Tom, what do you think?
How long is it? Like a minute? Go ahead.
Okay. Very similar to what we did.
Just those threaded rod guys.
Yep.
All those clamps have the jacket on the cable.
They do, yep. And that was more.
Actually,
before we dive into this, I'll
yeah.
show you this here in a second. But what Tom's talking about is this dissimilar metals tube that we have on here, and that again is more specifically because this is a galvanized zinc cable that we're using. So that is more in tune for worrying about what the pipe fitters are doing to make sure there's no dissimilar metals. We don't have that issue when we're talking about a metal piece of EMT. You can have it on. It doesn't affect its UL listing if you have it off either. So, but I do recommend just leaving it as is. It's less playing around with it. So this unique application is something that may get some interest on the riser side for guys coming out of boxes and stuff going vertical. Take a quick look at this one. So gives you some looks on some different applications. That full riser set up the wall. Again, that bracket that's there comes in 9 inch all the way up to 5 foot width, just like our universal bracket or a Gripple strut does. It's a perfect lead into falling back to our fast track because that's the next generation product of the universal bracket and the Gripple strut. This is taking what we're doing with that to a different level on the short drop solutions. So that's kind of a unique situation. This is a very unique product to us, a little more rigid because we're not using cable in this, but we're doing a very short drop solution. These legs here, the ladders, come up into every 9 inches all the way up to 5 foot in the vertical from the deck. So you can drop all the way down to 5 foot. The same with the bracket. So that's just like with the universal bracket or Gripple strut, it comes in that 9 inch to 5 foot width. The curb track, it is a very unique set where you're pushing the button as an installation to up, load, or drop and level. And then the cable of the bracket themselves, the leg, can actually fold directly up underneath the channel if it's C-channel down, or it can be broken off as a completely clean look. And we'll take a look at that going forward here with this particular installation.
This is 55 Romney Street in Charleston, South Carolina. It's an 8-story condominium building being, built right now behind us. As of right now, we're working with Owen Electric, who has purchased the Fast Track and our Fast Track tracks, to hang some MC, some metallic conduit in the parking garage area.
Gripple was chosen on this job because of the huge labor savings that I saw, the opportunities in, with the labor shortages and the ability to get the job done with less people. The biggest benefits for using Gripple as opposed to rod and strut is labor and safety. You're not using as many tools. You're not pulling out saws and files and bandsaws.
What is beneficial for using Fast Track over the traditional methods
a big
is,
one.
again, we're not cutting any strut. Ours is already pre-cut to length. We're not using any threaded rod and having to cut and deburr that as well.
What we do is just take a regular 1¼ bolt and screw in the track on both 2 sides, and then the bar just snaps on. It's a lot faster installation. It doesn't take as many man hours to do, and it just snaps together so quickly.
So Dave was able to look at it and say, okay, for every 5th bracket, we're going to fabricate a roller, so when we pull our conduit, it'll make it easier to roll across the brackets. So things like that, and then utilizing one insert for 2
cool.
of our tracks, and doing that together. That again was Owen's idea, and again, that comes from their field expertise.
I would tell other contractors to definitely use this. It goes a lot faster, it takes a whole lot less time, and would save time and money.
I would say to other contractors who are considering Gripple, Fast Track, you have to think outside the box. You have to find ways to be innovative, whether in your own method or through a company like Gripple. And this product is fantastic, and I would recommend it to anybody.
Sound like they're from New York.
And yes, that is Spud's name. That is his actual name. So
Yeah.
Cool. So for you guys, just as to where what they were doing there when they ran the MC over top of the Fast Track, what they were doing at that point, once they had completed their run across the length of the building, they were actually taking that Fast Track and cinching that as tight to the deck as they could get. So they were very literally pulling that completely out of the way, using up as much as that space to get to the top. So they were pulling all of their power directly out of the way. So it was a really fast solution. In fact, I've got 3 projects going here in Minneapolis that are doing the exact same process since they saw that video. So it's become kind of a quick hitter for us, especially for MC, but it's also a huge user for basket. You can even do conduit on that solution as well. So
Nice. Oh, and so
is-
just to be clear, for that Fast Track, you can use all those little quick twist
Yep.
fasteners. Okay, because the video didn't show it, but I think,
Right.
of course, your
Yeah,
video,
because
your picture right here shows it.
Right. So in that particular video, what they were doing is very literally just laying the MC on the Fast Track itself. They didn't have to secure it in that situation. But if you do have the option to put clamps on. You can connect with basket just like you're doing here. We even do have J-hook solutions as well, which actually snap directly into the ladder itself. So if you do need a follow-up where you're running some datacom, or if you're running some telephone, do that without actually having to get into your baskets as well. So very flexible solution. We do have a center if you have a single point. We also have a side version if you're up tight against a wall or any of those solutions. All of these things are available to you right now. Sorry, I jumped right to the next one. Was there any questions on the Fast Track, or we pretty good?
We do have a Fast Track demo here in our office. So if someone wants to monkey around with the Fast Track, just send me an email. We'll have a couple of contact people at the end here. So just let us know and we'll run it over to you, or you can play around with it. Or if you're on the other end of the state, we'll send you one.
Perfect. This particular product is what I call our best kept secret at Gripple. And the reason why is because it's a unique solution that only we provide at this point. It's called cable strut. And what we're doing is very literally replacing having to put unistrut between structure to create that hang point for a fixture or for anything else for that matter. If you're running basket or conduit that doesn't have a natural structure point above it, what we're doing is actually creating a span with the cable. The unique part about this is that we're actually got 2 sizes of it. We have an 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch cables that gives us 70 pounds and 120 pounds. The cool part is as you see here, this just shows a real simple between 2 beams. That's what we got. That's 70 pounds or 220 pounds. But this can continue on. We can fasten at one end of a building and continue across the building. This can go up to the length of a spool of cable. And as long as we're crossing over top of the structure, so if we're going over top of this beam here and then creating another bow like this on the other side, and then we keep going over top of structure and then a little bit of a bow over top of structure and a bow. We can do this until we run out of cable. We secure it with a lock on the other side, just like this. And then we use our C-clips, which are a quick twist onto the cable to put your hanger on. The unique part is that every time we get to that bow, it resets the load. So at 70 pounds, every time we have a bow like this, if we just go up and over and continue on, it's another 70 pounds on the next side, and another, and another, and another. And it's engineered and designed that way. For you guys out there that look at doing something like this for these large spec builds, warehouses, just any large volume facilities that require a ton of lighting, share with us your structural drawings and your lighting layout, and we can build you a takeoff for cable strut for your lighting. I've just done 2 recently, one for the Air Force that's going in New England, and 2 others that we just did for Amazon. And these are really, A, they're simple to do and read, and B, they're unbelievably fast for your guys to put up. There's nothing that has to be done for cutting. There's no fastening except for tightening a lock and then passing the cable over the structure across the building. This is something that we want to put in your hands, just like most of our product. It helps out to be able to see it, touch it, feel it. Ask some questions about it. It is a very unique solution to what we can do with cable and how we can save you guys hours and hours of time. So
yeah, we're looking at this. We have a phenolic duct product, and you can support all the duct work. So I'm pretty sure we can handle it.
Absolutely. So that's cable strut. As you see here, a couple of notes, lighting here. We've got some basket hung off it here with unistrut as well. And we just ran a dual line. And then we've also got, that's going to be lighting below on a rack system below there. So the other part about it is that for those of you that have architects that get a little antsy about what's being seen, with our cable solutions, a lot of times you get about 15, 20 feet away and everything looks like it's floating. It's a very unique solution that way for you. So there's your cable strut. So a couple of notes that I want to make sure you guys know. Everything that you've seen here today meets NEC and NFPA 70. All of our UL listings, any product that we're bringing to the table has already been tested and approved and is ready to go. So if there are any questions and you guys are looking to use a product and perhaps your engineer is not familiar with it, get us involved. That's our job. Let us have the conversation with the engineer. You show the interest and we'll help out with the submittal side of it. We'll have conversations if they have questions. That's our job. Let us take care of that for you. And then any product that we have is listed at master spec. And of course, we are Build a Buy American Act compliant because we are manufacturing and assembling in Chicago. So what's our next steps, Tom?
Well, there's a few things you can do. This is what is this? This is like a taste test, right? To see your interest. But if you'd like, we and Gripple can come to your office and bring the samples so you can get your hands on them. If it's and often it's preferable to do it on a job site. If you have a foreman who's like, well, I don't know, and he wants to talk about it, and my job's a little bit different. Okay, we can go to the job site and bring those samples. If you want to come here and see what our inventory is like and check out our auditorium or our conference room, we can certainly have a meeting here. We do have plenty of stuff to show. And finally, if you're really ambitious, there's a great showroom, hands-on, do demos, all that kind of stuff. If you're willing to take a ride with us down to Aurora, Illinois, and we can do some hands-on stuff and have a dinner and all that kind of stuff as well. So going forward, now I just want to be real clear. You can buy Gripple in all sorts of places. You can buy it from electrical distributors. You can buy it from Airflow is the rep for the territory, but that just gives us, I would say, the best pricing available and probably the best know-how as well. So yes, you can go to Gray Bar and find these products as well. We'd like you to work with us because when you're buying from us, we're going to be supporting the project, not just the material that you're buying. So we are in the construction industry. We understand everything that goes on in a job site. So whether it's coordinating an electrical takeoff or getting you quotes or even doing some anticipated labor savings, we are here to support you. And for the short term, a lot of people at Airflow can help you, but Ryan Post is going to be our lead person. I think I went ahead. Oh, sorry. I'm just going to read the slide.
You're good.
Yeah, I would definitely encourage you guys to just send a plan over and we'll do a takeoff for you. Just give us a couple of days and we'll get it worked out. And finally, our lead person over here is going to be me and Ryan Post. And if you guys want to take a half a second and do a snip of this page, you can always reach out to Sean and Dan. And usually our calls are in conjunction with the folks at Gripple. You know, it's always nice to have support. Dan Majeski, who handles both mechanical and electrical and basically all trades, lives here in Milwaukee. So he's at our disposal. And Sean, if something really important comes up, well, we'll just make him get in his car and drive down from the Twin Cities and go visit the job site. So this is, yeah, this is the team. And we'd love to be able to help you out. So give us a shot. I think certainly Gripple on its own speaks for itself. But Airflow has been around for, actually next year will be 50 years. We have 50 lines of HVAC stuff, and we have a handful of electrical things like starters and electric heat and all that kind of stuff that sometimes cross over between mechanical and electrical trades. But we'd love to help you out with Gripple. And yeah, we're not your regular Viking Electric or whoever you're usually going to, but give us a shot. I think you'll like what you see. And I think that's it. And I'm looking to see, let's see if there's any questions. We do have 30 people still at the end, Sean. So you did really well. Nice job.
Appreciate all of you staying and putting up with me.
And we are just under that hour marker. So again, take us, grab these email addresses with your snip tool and shoot us an email, and we will be sending out your Gripple sweatshirts here in a few days after we get them on order. We're just waiting for the last few people to register. And I have one, and it's a very nice sweatshirt. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. So with that, thanks Dan Shea, thanks Darren Johnson, thanks especially to Sean Lowe for doing a great job on the presentation. And thanks everybody for spending the last hour with us. Hope you got something out of it. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.